What is up, people, and welcome back to my Rags to Riches F1 2010 to 2014 career mode. This is the career mode where we go from one of the worst teams in F1 2010, work our way through the ranks and through the teams, and try and get a drive for one of the best teams in F1 2014. If you want to go and check out all of the rules of this series, they'll be down in the description below. And if you have missed any episodes so far in this series, go check them out with the card annotation in the top right-hand corner of your screens. And before we actually get into today's episode, I want to make an apology, okay? I pre-recorded 25 of these episodes all the way up to the Monaco Grand Prix before they pretty much went out. Then I went on holiday. I've only just got back, and I've realized that I've been saying one driver's name wrong for this entire series so far. I started off by calling him Vin Antonio Luizzi, and you guys correct me on that. It's actually Vit Antonio, and his last name is actually Liuzzi, not Luizzi. So a lot of you guys were complaining about that, and I just want to, you know, correct it and make you guys happy. So his name from now on will be Liuzzi. Liuzzi, that's how you say it. Yeah, Liuzzi. I'm going to have to get into rhythm of saying that. But let's get into today's episode at the Canadian Grand Prix track, which I do tend to do well at, especially coming off the back of getting that race win in the Monaco Grand Prix. Right, emails for today. So the objective for today, they want me to achieve the position of 7th in qualifying and finish the race in 4th. Could be difficult, but in Canada we do tend to do well. And looking at it's going to be heavy rain in qualifying, but it's not going to be raining in practice or the race, which is okay. I'm not too sure how well I do in the qualifying session, so we're just going to have to wait and see with the heavy rain there. But hopefully it's not actually going to be too bad. Nothing else I don't believe that we really have to talk about. So without any further ado, let's get into today's race weekend. It is, of course, the Canadian Grand Prix. Here we go then. One-shot qualifying at the Canadian Grand Prix. I'm not entirely sure where my braking and turning points are at this circuit. Braked very, very early into that corner. And actually couldn't even see the apex because it's so wet out on track. But here we go. One-shot qualifying. Let's see what we can do in today's race. And in the first time ever driving in wet conditions on the F1 2011 game. So I'm not entirely sure how well this is going to go. So far, the lap hasn't exactly been amazing. We are 2 seconds off the pace of Alonso's time. I'm not too sure whereabouts that's going to put us. We've just got one more corner left to go, which is of course the Wall of Champions chicane. Braking into it, flick the car into the right, then the left, taking a lot of curb on the exit, down towards the line. Whereabouts is this going to put us? Not pole position, probably way off the pace here in Canada, and yes it is, in our typical 18th position here today. So it looks like we are not a maestro in the wet weather on this game. 18th position is the best that we could have hoped for so far here today, and hopefully none of the back markers can beat that time. So there we go. 18th place is where we will be starting today's race from. Unfortunately, that's the best we could have hoped for. It seems like 18th place is where we usually qualify anyway. We don't tend to do well in the qualifying sessions. We do a lot better in the actual races, so hopefully that could be something here. So we want to try and carry on our streak as well of getting a points finish in every single race. That's what we've managed to do every single race so far in the 2011 season. We have managed to get a points finish, so hopefully we can carry that on here today. But it's going to be difficult from 18th place. However, it is going to be dry, so hopefully that can be in our favour. So without any further ado, let's head over to the race for the Canadian Grand Prix. It's race day here at the Canadian Grand Prix. The team want me to try and finish 4th or above as we start way down the field in 18th positions. We've got a lot of ground to catch up here today, but it's dry out on track. This is a circuit we do tend to do well at, so hopefully we can make our way through the pack. Starting on the prime tyres, like we usually do. I seem to enjoy starting on the prime tyres and getting the options. The leaders do tend to get held up by the other guys doing the same strategy as me, so hopefully that can really help me out here today and we can get some good points scoring finishes. Looking at the teammate challenge again, Rubens Barrichello still managing to out-qualify us 5-2, but it looks like we've got him everywhere else on the chart as well. Of course, getting that one podium, which was actually a race win last time around at the Monaco Grand Prix. What a race that was. So nothing else really to talk about. Let's head down to the track and get today's race underway. Lining up on pole position for today's race is Fernando Alonso, with Lewis Hamilton alongside him in 2nd place. It's Rubens Barrichello down in 16th place. Then it's myself directly behind him in 18th on the grid. We'll be looking to make up quite a lot of ground here today. Hopefully get into the top 10 for the 7th time this season. As the lights come on, it's 5 red lights It is lights out and away we go for the Canadian Grand Prix. Straight away putting up into Rich Mix, trying to find a way through on all the other guys. But we're going to have to take it cautiously as we do not want to get caught up in this pack. There was no gaps like we have seen in previous races like Malaysia, for example, where we just made up so much ground down towards turn 1. Unfortunately, that was not the case here today, and we're holding on to 18th place. It looks like we haven't actually made up any ground so far this race. We're going to ease up the inside of DeResta, which we can actually do. We've got past Adrian Sittil, which is always good. But now we're going to go around the outside of DeResta, possibly, and maybe try and get Rubens Barrichello as well up the inside here. And yes, we have. Have we done it? Yes, we have. There we go. Got the job done on my teammate of Rubens Barrichello, now trying to hunt down the Sauber of, I believe, Kamui Kobayashi. Oh, looks like there was a Renault driver, Renault Lotus, going a little bit wide up ahead of us. So we're going to pounce on the back of Kamui Kobayashi now. Can we get Sergio Perez in the other Sauber as well? He's going very defensive into this corner. I've gone right at the back of Petrov. Oh, seems like there was a big old collision in towards the hairpin. Just had to sort of avoid that. Very lucky not to lose any damage on my front wing through there. I was very, very lucky not to actually do that, in fact. But we got through. We got past Perez as well. And we're up into P13, trying to follow behind Vitaly Petrov now. So what can we do? Down in towards the chicane, and it's not the best of lines through there. Just about avoiding the barriers, but that nearly put me under pressure from Sergio Perez. That was close. That was a close one. Petrov going for the overtake now on Jaime Alguersuari, and he's gone very wide as well. Nearly going into the barrier through there. That's going to allow me to catch up to the Renault driver. Hopefully down in towards the chicane. Following in the slipstream at the moment. It might be enough, but we've hit the rev limiter very, very early on. So we won't be gaining any more on Vitaly Petrov, unfortunately. But what can we do through the final chicane? They're braking a lot earlier this time. Taking a lot of curb initially, but completely missing the apex on the second part. But we are running again in the slipstream. But will we hit the rev limiter? Will we go up the inside? Maybe on Petrov. We try it. Unfortunately, not able to do anything through there. He's running very wide in towards turn 2. Can we pounce on Petrov? Down in towards turn 3 and turn 4. Are we going to do anything on Vitaly Petrov right now? Up the inside, possibly. Side by side, there's a little bit of contact between the two of us. I try the switchback move. I pull it off. And there we go, moving up into P12. Lovely move there on Vitaly Petrov. Right, we are right on the back of Jaime Alguersuari now. The AI seemed to go very slowly and brake very early into this hairpin. There we go, dive bomb up the inside. A little bit of contact there with the Renault. Whoa, well, I've got someone going up my inside. That's probably my own fault. I probably deserved that there for diving up the inside of both those guys. But Jaime Alguersuari came out of nowhere there. What a move there from the actual Toro Rosso drivers. We're going to make it 3 wide down in towards the chicane. Can we make it work? We're going to brake early. We do not want to take that risk, and we're going to get past Nick Heidfeld nice and easily indeed. We've got the job done on Heidfeld. Let's try and get Jaime Alguersuari now and move up into the top 10. There's a driver going very, very slowly. It's Lewis Hamilton, the man who started in 2nd place for this Canadian Grand Prix, having problems here today very early on in this race. Disappointment there for Lewis Hamilton, but that moves me up into the top 10, and that is points here today. Here we go again, right on the back of Jaime Alguersuari. This time I'm going to go around the outside in towards the hairpin. Break it so much later. Now, so much later myself, to be fair. And, okay, that was really bad. That was a terrible line. Picking up so many marbles on the car. That's annoying. That is really, really frustrating. I could have done so much better than that. But gaining on Alguersuari as we go down in towards the chicane. We're going to have to be careful, just in case he breaks early coming into the pits. Looks like Buemi's coming into the pits. And I'm going to follow behind Jaime Alguersuari as I take quite a lot of the apex there. But we're going to get through quite a few positions now. And maybe move ourselves up into P6, which we do. There we go, up into P6.
Go for the overtake. Go for the overtake.
Okay then, Jeff, I will go for the overtake on Jaime Alguersuari. Put ourselves right behind the Toro Rosso driver once again. As we go down in towards the hairpin. We know we are quicker. We know we are better under braking. We're just going to take this nice and easy in towards the hairpin and get him in towards the start-finish straight. Although Alguersuari is probably going to be coming into pits on this lap anyway, so we shouldn't really have to worry about trying to get past him. We have got DRS on Alguersuari ahead of us, but he should just fly into the pit lane, although we're going to gain on him quite a bit as he comes into the pits. Here we go, braking for the chicane, and Alguersuari comes into the pits, and that moves me up another position. Here we go, up into what should be the lead of today's race. And no, it's not. It's P2 at the moment. We've got Fernando Alonso right behind us, and we're going to be coming into pits on this lap. Fernando Alonso is absolutely destroying this race as if he is this far ahead of everybody else at the moment. I mean, this is absolutely incredible from the Spaniard, who's literally on my tail right now. He is right on my gearboxes. Jenson Button currently leading today's race. Hopefully he can go on to win the race and actually replicate his win that he got in the real-life 2011 season. But Alonso right on my tail. We're going to be flying into the pit lane, so we don't really have to worry about Fernando too much unless he gains on us quite a bit using his DRS, which I think he will do. Down in towards the chicane. He shouldn't have to worry because we're just going to fly into the pit lane. And there we go, into the pit. See you later, Fernando Alonso. And I should probably put it down to Lee Mix. Save a bit of fuel whilst we're actually in the pit lane. Because there we go, it was on optimal. And now it's just flexed straight back up into plus 1 lap of fuel, which is what we like to see. Which means that we can run in rich mix for as long as we possibly like. Right, whereabouts is this going to put us? It's a 4.0 second stop. Put it straight back up into rich mix. We're going to fly straight out of the pit lane, side by side with Nico Rosberg. And, wow, okay, thank you, game. Thank you very much for that. Putting me on the grass, on the pit lane exit. I love that. That's exactly where I wanted to be. Thank you very much. At least I've got past Sebastian Buemi, so there's a little bit of good news. Here we go then. Right on the back of Nico Rosberg. We've been gaining on him on the last couple of laps now, braking so much later than him into this hairpin. And if we can get a good exit, we can use the DRS to our advantage and hopefully try and get him down in towards the chicane. DRS activated, DRS open, following in the slipstream, using the DRS, hitting the rev limiter. Can we go for the overtake on Nico Rosberg side by side in towards the chicane? And there we go. Job done on Nico Rosberg and moving up into P7. Up next for us now is the other Mercedes of Michael Schumacher as we go and set the fastest lap of the race so far. And we've only got 2 laps of the race. Can we overtake Michael Schumacher? It's going to be difficult, but let's just wait and see. Can we overtake Michael Schumacher for 6th place here at this Canadian Grand Prix? Going to be right up behind him under braking into the hairpin, but unfortunately we're going to be very slow out of the corner. That was sort of a fast in, slow out, unfortunately. Not the best of lines through that corner, but we will get DRS on Michael Schumacher. Luckily, we are still in optimal fuel, which is exactly where we want to be. I doubt we'll be able to get him in towards the chicane, but we might be able to get him out of it. If we can get a good line through here, we might be able to get Michael Schumacher using DRS down in towards turn 1. So here we go, following in the slipstream of Michael Schumacher. Where's he going to defend? We're going to go route up the inside. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's a great save. I am literally like Pastor Maldonado in this series. Only he can make an overtake and a save at the same time. But what a battle that was with Michael Schumacher. Lovely move down towards turn 1, having to save the car at the same time. Sort of made that mistake of trying to turn whilst having the DRS open at the same time. But luckily, we got through. We are in P6, and I can actually breathe for this final lap. Although, no, I can't, because I've got Michael Schumacher right on my tail. So I need to try and defend from him. One more corner left to go in this Canadian Grand Prix. We started all the way down in 18th place, and we could finish 6th here today if Michael Schumacher does not get the overtake on us in towards this final chicane. Flicking it right, then left. Not the best of lines there, but Michael Schumacher using DRS, using slipstream. It's not going to be enough, and it is a 6th place here today at the Canadian Grand Prix. What a great result. The driver doesn't seem to be celebrating too much. Unfortunately, not getting the team's objective of a 4th place, but still an amazing 6th place here today, despite starting in P18 and beating Lewis Hamilton. So that means that we actually should move up past him in the Drivers' Championship. Unfortunately, though, not beating the other 5 top 6 drivers. So we're going to have to put in a lot of work to try and beat those guys across the rest of the season. But Fernando Alonso is today's race winner, and he leads a Ferrari 1-2 with Felipe Massa in 2nd, then Sebastian Vettel 3rd, Jenson Button in 4th, Mark Webber in 5th, myself in 6th with Michael Schumacher and Nico Rosberg, the 2 Mercedes drivers just behind me in 7th and 8th, then Sebastian Buemi 9th with Jaime Alguersuari getting the final points paying position here today, with Rubens Barrichello down in 17th place, and Lewis Hamilton not actually finishing in the end after that, after running very slowly earlier on in the race. A disappointment there for the McLaren driver. Right, how does this affect the drivers' standings? Now we are up into 6th place. It is confirmed. There we go. We are up into 6th place here today, jumping past Lewis Hamilton quite a way off of Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso, Jenson Button, Mark Webber, and Felipe Massa, who indeed still leads the Drivers' Championship at this stage of the season. Jenson Button and Mark Webber very close to each other on points, and so is Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel as well. But jumping Lewis Hamilton in the championship now means that we are in a Williams seat again for next season. So we could be driving for Williams in F1 2012 if we hold on to seat. But Lewis Hamilton is in a very quick car, so it won't be too much of a surprise if he does overtake us and we do get demoted down in towards a Toro Rosso seat. But we'll just have to wait and see how this season goes. It looks like we don't really have too much competition from anybody else. Maybe Nico Rosberg, but Vitaly Petrov and the rest of those guys are way off the pace at the moment. Looking at the constructors standings, Ferrari lead the way, 202 points, with Red Bull not too far behind them. Then it's ourselves in 4th place, beating Mercedes at the moment by quite a bit, but there is still a long way left to go in this season, so there is any chance that Mercedes can still catch up to us. But that's it for today's Canadian Grand Prix. Let's head back to the menus. What a race here today then at the Canadian Grand Prix, starting at 18th place, a disappointing qualifying session, but we pulled it back and we managed to finish in 6th place in today's race. Right, looking at the standings then for the final time in this episode, 6th place at the moment, up ahead of Lewis Hamilton after he had a DNF here today. 7 points clear at the moment, 7 points clear in this Williams seat. If we unfortunately get 7th place though, that means that we will be driving for Toro Rosso next season. So hopefully we can hold on to this position. But that is it for today's Canadian Grand Prix. If you haven't enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so for daily Formula One content. And don't forget to share this video with your friends. But I'll see you next time at one of my favourite circuits that is no longer on the F1 calendar, the European Grand Prix in Valencia. And hopefully we can get another good result there tomorrow. But until then, it's goodbye from me.